Maryland. Patrick Van Horn joins us now with one man's incredible collection of Kennedy memorabilia. Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Dana. If you thought all the Kennedy collectibles in the world were auctioned off at that Jackie O show back in the spring in New York City, you'd be wrong, because you're about to see one man's amazing collection of Kennedy stuff tucked away where you'd least expect it.
I'm Robert L. White. I've got the largest private Kennedy collection in the world, and I'd love to give you a tour.
Camelot.
Robert White lives in Camelot, at least his own little corner of Camelot.
A lot of people in the early 60s identified with Kennedy. And when he was assassinated, he took on a Lincoln-type quality to me.
Sold $2,350,000.
Kennedy mania ran wild at this year's out-of-sight Jackie Onassis auction. Those crazed buyers would have hit Kennedy heaven if they'd gotten their hands on Robert White's collection. The true Kennedy treasure trove, hidden in the basement of his mom's Maryland home.
His baby ring, his address book that he used at his Boston apartment, which is kind of telling and interesting. Jackie and John's passports, which are a stellar item. People just look right at them and just immediately melt. His ties, a lot of his personal ties, his watch, his ring, a humidor.
This stuff goes from the bizarre.
That's one of the few locks of hair of President Kennedy as president in existence.
To the chilling.
These are the two flags that flew on the car in Dallas, November 22nd, 1963. And here are the original two flags, which are these flags, the presidential standard and the U.S. flag. It still has some of the wax off the fender. This is his briefcase that he acquired in Paris in the late 40s, which is start of his political career in the 50s as a congressman, as a senator, and he used it as president, and this was on the plane in Dallas, November 22nd.
Guests get the grand tour of Robert White's house, a Please Touch museum.
When they come here, I give them a show. I tell them to bring a camera. I set them in Kennedy's rocker if they want to hold his briefcase. I've had literally people sit in that rocking chair and cry.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Robert White's Kennedy collection is 40 years in the making. Incredible pieces of John F. Kennedy's life, plucked from the garbage pile.
He's a prolific doodler. On here we have NATO, blockade Cuba, Castro, a sailboat, and the word Fidel Castro.
How did this industrial cleaning supply salesman get these priceless presidential prizes?
I got in with the insiders in the Kennedy administration, and with no ill thoughts in mind, just to meet them, get their autographs, gain their confidence without even knowing I was gaining their confidence. And then all of a sudden, they started giving me things.
But White isn't divulging the names of his Kennedy connections.
My people respected me, and I totally respected them. Part of the respect was privacy.
This stash is worth millions, but this 47-year-old family man isn't selling, even if he could use the cash.
Not even tempting. My wife cringes when I say that, because she wants me to be a little bit tempted, like get rid of 20 items. I think that's part of the ambiance of what I'm about, is that this is a jerk that's not going to sell this stuff, you know. I love the stuff.
We could be rich. Yes, I tell myself that every day.
Here in Camelot.
Robert White dreams of opening a real museum someday, sharing his Kennedy passion. For now, you'll have to drop by his mom's basement to catch his case of Kennedy fever.
I'm in all of my own collection. It's simple, but this material is a part of me.
Now, if you have questions about Robert White's collection or something in which you think he might be interested, you can call Robert White at home. He actually wants you to call him. His phone number is, he said we could give this out, 410-788-7471. That's Robert White, Kennedy collector, 410-788-7471. Dana?
Wow, I don't think we've ever done that, and I'm going to bet a nickel he's going to be just inundated with phone calls. Whew. Now, some of his pieces, I'm wondering about the preservation techniques. I mean, while I would love to sit in John F. Kennedy's rocking chair, is that really the best thing to do to preserve it for future generations to see, to let people sit in it?
I don't know. I can't tell you that. I'm not sure. What I can tell you is that he did go to the big Jackie O auction back in the spring. He went to the Jackie O auction, and he said he saw about 50 items that he thought these would be great additions to my collection. But once the bidding got out of control, he got very depressed, and he said what he witnessed there was that most of the collectors, or the people buying, had, his words now, more money than brains. He did try to bid on one item, which was a book of Irish folklore that sat on Jack Kennedy's nightstand that was inscribed to him from Jackie, and he dropped out. He got left in the dust. That went for about $20,000.
Well, it would appear that he has many more personal items that would have gone for God only knows how much if
And
they
his
were in the
personal,
auction.
his personal favorite is that briefcase. It is kind of a neat little bit of history.
Yeah, everything we've seen. Thank you. That's a great story.
My pleasure.
All right, see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Still to come.